Google recently announced a new music generation tool that is so much fun to use. You can use this to generate songs, playlists, even these spaces with these interactive tools to make music and music videos. This may feel a little bit overwhelming the first time that you log in, but in this video, I'll break down the basics so you can get started with this. I really encourage you to try this out because it is so much fun to use and it's free to get started. The tool we're looking at today is called Google Flow Music. You can find this at flowmusic.app. Once you create an account, this will be your dashboard. You can ignore everything for now. We're going to come right to the prompt box just to try this out. And what you want to put in here is just any idea you have for music or a song. And you may not really know what to put, just literally put anything in here. So I'll tell it to create a 60s Motown style song. The more details you give it, the better. But if you're sort of at a loss for what to say in the beginning, that's okay. Just kind of keep it simple. You can always add more later and iterate on what was created in the first version. So I'll send that along and it will then begin working on 2 different versions of this song. Once the songs are finished generating, you'll see them right here. It also produces cover arts for them. And one of the songs will immediately start playing. I paused it so that I could record this, but it will just start playing. And you can see down here the play button and the pause button and the skip track buttons and the entire timeline for the video. So let's listen to one of these. So that's an instrumental song, no lyrics in there, which is okay for the first rendition. Now, if there's anything you don't like in here, any changes you want to make, you want to add lyrics, any changes, you can tell producer or Flow Music in here what changes you want to make. They also give you suggestions. So if you're not really sure, they give you a couple of ones that you can choose between. But before you do that, what I always suggest you do is you listen to both songs and you rate them. You say whether you like or don't like them. Because every time you do that, the AI is going to get better at recognizing what you like and what you don't like. So this one I liked, I'll give it a thumbs up. This one I didn't like, so I'll give that one a thumbs down. But I want to make some changes to this. So I might say, yeah, I need more brass stabs. So I'll select that one. All right, I like that a lot better. I'll give that one a thumbs up. Now, we've only created instrumentals at this point. If you want to add vocals and lyrics, you're more than capable of doing that inside of Flow Music. You can either start a new session or add on to the one you already have. So here's a suggestion. It says add funky vocals. I can select that and it will automatically generate the lyrics.
Feel the rhythm in my feet. Step right outside and hear the brass section blow.
All right, not bad. And up here, you can see the lyrics written out. If you want to make any changes to these, click here where it says send to compose. And then over here on the right, you can see all the lyrics and you can make any changes that you want or have it generate for you again by clicking here where it says generate after you make some changes. So we just kind of went through the basic version of how to use this. There's more advanced options and one of them is super cool. So let me show you that one. So we'll start a new session by clicking on the top left here where it says new session. And by the way, all your songs are always saved. You can click right here where it says songs and see all the songs that you created, all the versions of them too. So here we see the first take and then like the ones that I created after that and then the ones with the vocals. So everything is in here saved. Let's return back though. I'll click on new session and this time we'll play around with voice mode because this isn't like voice mode in typical apps typical like AI chat apps where it's just like a dictation tool. This is a lot more interactive. Let me show you. So it is now on and to use it, all I have to do is hold down P. Yeah, so I want you to make some lo-fi beats for me with like a nice beat, something I could use for study music. So kind of just playing in the background, just instrumentals, no music.
Okay, I'm making 2 chill lo-fi study beats for you. Hang tight.
All right, so there it goes.
2 fresh chill study tracks are rendering now. They'll be ready in a moment.
So let's see what it comes up with, and then you'll see how you can use the voice mode to really iterate on that and to improve the song.
Just a beat. The second one should be done any second. Alright, the 2 lo-fi study tracks are all set.
Right, so isn't that pretty neat? So here, like I can say something like, yeah, I think these are pretty good, but I'm not sure about the beats per minute. What would be your suggestion on how to improve that, kind of make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more funky?
Gotcha. Let's get a bit more groove in there. I'll generate a couple of new tracks with a slightly funkier tempo and rhythmic elements. Still keeping the chill study vibe, though. Working on some new grooves for you, though. All right, the new funky study beats are ready for you.
So that's my absolute favorite way to use this with voice mode. It's just really cool. I wish all AI apps had this. Like, I would love to be inside of Gemini and making images with it and using that same feature where it's like talking to me and describing what it's doing with the images. I just think it's so cool. All right, but let me go into some of the other settings that I think would be really helpful if you start to really use Flow Music a lot. So I'll click on New Session here. And then there are 2 additional menu options here. The first one is a plus icon. It allows you to upload images or audio that can be used when creating the music. But what I really want to show you is in the second one. There are a few settings here. There's not much you can change, but click on where it says Customize Producer. That will open up the settings menu, and click on the left where it says Instructions. And here you can put in instructions that will be used in every single session. I chose not to do this because I want every song to be treated independently, but that option is in there. But what is extremely helpful are flows. These are skills so that you never have to repeat the same instructions ever again. So I've created one skill here called Motown. I really liked a song that I created using this prompt. So I just clicked on New Flow. I named it Motown and then pasted in the instructions. And so now if I want to use this skill, or flow as they call it, all I have to do is do /Motown. And even though it doesn't show anything, it does work, because if I send that along, you can see that it did populate the prompt correctly. Now, the hardest part about using Google Flow Music is how to get started. So Flow Music gives you some suggestions right here. They call them starters. So you can choose any of these, and then it will throw it in as a prompt, get started, and then you can iterate based on that. But what I like to do is I like to go over to my AI chat of choice and have it help me come up with a prompt that I can then throw into the prompt box. So for that, I'm going to be using this tool called i10x because they are the sponsor of today's video. i10x is basically an all-in-one AI chatbot where you get access to not only models from one company, so you don't just get like ChatGPT's models, you also get Google's, you get XAI, Anthropic, DeepSeek, and ZAI, all from within this one workspace. And they have a lot of additional advanced tools. The one that I'm using today is called Agent Builder. So these allow you to create these custom agents where you can choose exactly which model will power the agent. You can give it a name and a prompt. And so that's what I've done right here. I created an agent called Google AI Flow Music. And when I use this, all I have to do is generally describe what I'm looking to create inside of Google AI Music or Flow. For instance, I can say some house music and send that along. Then the agent instructions tell it to ask me a bunch of questions to make sure that the final prompt it produces for me is really good. So here it gives me some choices. So I'll tell it tech house, instrumentals only, late club energy, and high energy vibe. That answers all of its questions. And sending it along, it will then ask some other questions. So I will tell it that this is the vibe I'm going for. And now it's cooking up the prompt. So here's a prompt. All I have to do is copy it and come back over to Google Flow Music, paste it in, and send it along. So in addition to that, i10x also gives you image generation. So you can use this to create images using top models, video generation. So you can use it with top video generation models. It has deep research using Perplexity Sonar Pro, and a chat arena where you can pit 2 different models against each other, send one prompt to see which model you like better. i10x starts at just $8 a month if you go with annual billing. That includes 5,000 uses of basic models, 200 uses of advanced models, and 2,500 credits for things like image and video generation. If you want to pay month to month, it's just $10 a month. And for just $17.50 a month, you get unlimited use of basic models, unlimited use of advanced models, and 7,500 credits for things like images and videos. If you want to try i10x out for yourself, I'll have a link for it in the description down below. And thank you i10x for sponsoring this video. Okay, next I want to show you spaces. These things are really interesting. You can find these over here on the left. It says spaces. You can see I've already created 2 of them. Let me just show you one so you get an idea of what this is. Basically, it creates these music generation tools. You can see mine over here on the right. So I can click on play. And then I can change what's happening by just adding more to these different tools. So I can add more kick, I can add more or less snare, I can add more or less closed hat and open hat. So I'll just play around with that as you listen to it. All right, I think you get the idea. And you can generate basically any tools that you want. So for instance, I have that one, I have this one, which I created. That's a looper where you'll actually be able to record your voice and then it loops it. So to create your own, come over to spaces, click on new space. It'll then put in the prompt, let's create a space together, and give you some suggestions, or you can tell it on your own what you want it to make. So let's try this one that it suggested called a gravitational sequencer. I'll click on that suggestion. All right, looks like it's done. So let's add a planet. Let's add a few more. Click on start gravity. That's pretty neat. But the problem is once it's hit the ground, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, so there needs to be a change here. So I'm going to activate voice mode and tell it, yeah, the gravitational sequencer is a really good first step. But the problem is once I turn on gravity, everything drops down and then just stays there. I would love to have a button that maybe like reverses gravity or makes gravity go to the right side or the left side, or like centrifugal force where it's all spinning around. That way they don't all get stuck in one place.
That's a great idea.
All right, let's give this new one a shot. All right, that's a little better. So cool. Yeah, so these are super fun to play with. And then finally, we have music videos. Now, as you see here, I have not created any music videos, and that's because I'm a little bit hesitant to do that because I'm not like super interested in it, and I'm afraid it's going to use too many credits, which brings me to the last thing I want to talk about, which is how much this is going to cost you. So if you come down to the bottom left and click on your name, you can see how many credits you have, and you can click on the credits. Here, for instance, you can see that I have 30,000 credits available in my account. Now, if you just signed up, you probably have a free plan. And during the setup process, they have been giving people 500 credits just for signing up. So you'll probably see at least 500 credits in here. And every day that you log in, they also gift you an additional 30 credits. The reason I have so many credits is because I signed up for Google AI Ultra with the Google account that's linked up with Google Flow Music. So if you have an Ultra account, they will automatically upgrade you to the best plan on Google Flow Music. Unfortunately, if you're on the Pro plan, you don't get any sort of benefit like that. You need the Ultra plan, which costs $250 a month. But coming over here, you can sign up for a plan. You can click on right here, it'll say like sign up for a plan. And here you can see that this starts at just $6 a month for 3,000 credits. But honestly, if you have 500 when you sign up and you get 30 per day, then that's going to get you kind of far, because right here you can see how much each song is costing you. And I have found that each song costs me 10 credits usually if it's just instrumentals, and anywhere between 15 and 30 if I use lyrics in the song. The other thing you can do to earn credits is come over on the left here where it says turntable. And here it will give you a task. It says listen to each sample and choose which one matches the prompt better. This will be the prompt. You can listen to both versions for a few seconds and choose which one matches the prompt better, and they will award you free credits. So that is Google Flow Music, and I can't tell you how much fun I've been having with this. Just putting on a good pair of headphones at the end of the day, creating some beats, and just kind of vibing out to chill out and slow down after a long work day. If you're going to try it out for yourself, let me know what you're creating in the comments section down below. And next, check out this video right here, because this is just one of the many hidden Google AI tools that most people don't know about. And I think this one right here is probably the most underrated, least talked about tools that Google AI has created. So if you want to check that out, click on this video right here and I'll see you over there in 1 second. Bye for now.